So the question is this: how do thought leaders, school dropouts, former and current students find out what's next after they do or don't cross that stage? If you want to know the secrets to starting the career or business of your dreams, getting paid whatever you desire, and discovering what you do the best with the least amount of effort, then this is the right podcast for you. I'm Shawn Anthony, and this is School's Over. Now what? The podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Shawn Anthony, and if this is your very first time clicking that button, not only are you in for a treat, but let me tell you what this show is all about. Each and every single week, we have continued to bring you an inspiring person or message that has truly been impactful. And everybody who's ever been on this show has answered the question we have all asked ourselves at some point in our lives. And that school's over, now what, right? What do I do? Well, each and every single week, because you guys have been talking about this show and have been sharing the show, we've been able to bring you some of the most amazing and biggest guests on the planet. And you know, guys, if this is your very first time ever clicking that button, you know how I like to kick this thing off with the review of the week. This week, the review comes from Move Happy, and they wrote, I had the honor of listening to a few episodes and will make this a regular routine. I love the transitions, the type of people you attract, and your confident tone. Dopest School podcast out. Man, first off, Move Happy, I appreciate you guys. And if you have enjoyed any piece of this content, it would mean so much to us if you scroll to the bottom of your screen right now. If you're listening on iTunes, click that 5-star rating and leave us a review. It has helped us do tremendous things. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Are you thinking of starting a business? You're going to need a website. Or do you have a business but haven't updated your website in over 2 years? Then you need to hear this. Olive Branch Digital will help you create the website of your dreams. They are masters at turning your ideas to responsive websites that get picked up on Google and all the major search engines. Stop wasting time trying to learn the code and visit olivebranchdigital.com. Mention the podcast and get 10% off your website project. This episode is brought to you by www.patreon.com/schoolsover. Now what? For as low as $5, you can help us impact more people, tour schools, and reach communities. You also get exclusive Patreon-only content. That's bonus episodes, early access, and be able to go behind the scenes with me and some of our guests. Visit www.patreon.com/schoolsover. Now what? And become a patron today. All right, let's get into the reason you clicked that button. And I'm excited for this because people have asked, we've been on IG Live, at Shawn R. Anthony _. We've been going on Instagram Live for quite some time. But there was one IG Live that has been hands down the most popular one we've ever done. And I felt as if it would be a disservice if we did not bring that to you now in an audio format so you can listen to it in case you missed it. And this one is going to be one that's going to be one of your personal, probably all-time favorites, as we are bringing you the Instagram Live with the one and only Tiffany Montgomery. And we had her on our show back in episode 102, and we went on IG Live, and the vibe and the conversation was just so powerful. And I know you guys are going to enjoy this. You already know the drill. Make sure you got your pencil. Make sure you got your paper. You're definitely going to take some notes from this. Sit back, relax, and gain this knowledge from our IG Live exclusive with Tiffany Montgomery. Send us to 10 people.
Hello.
What's up? What's going on?
I'm excited.
I'm excited for this one too, man. They had no idea about this one.
Right.
What's happening? How's your life going?
Life is great. To be very honest. Very calm, very peaceful, excited about what's next. Life is good.
You know what? What's crazy right now? People are joining us live. Some people are under a rock. They have no idea who you are. Give them a quick little synopsis of who we got the pleasure of speaking with tonight.
Man, I'm Tiffany Montgomery, founder of the Millions Conference. And I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years, 15 years now. And that's just the gist of it. But I'm just so much more than an introduction. I'm always so bad at it. Somebody asked me to explain myself. I always forget who I am again. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm too much to fit into 30 seconds, you know?
So 30 seconds isn't enough, right?
It's just never enough. No.
So how has your like your whole family right now? Like how has everybody been impacted with COVID-19? How's everybody doing?
So we haven't technically. My family, I've been an online entrepreneur since 2010. So I'm really grateful that I was kind of ahead of the game in regards to primarily making the majority of my income online. And so nothing's really changed at all. I live a pretty quarantine life in general. And right now I'm on tour with my big brother, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, and Jamal King and CJ Quinny Jr. And so obviously with the world on punishment right now, our tour had to pause for a little bit. But outside of that, nothing has changed. I go to the post office, Target, and that's about what my life consisted of prior to this anyway. So and I'm still making this money is still coming in. So I have not taken a loss in income at all.
Tell the money has not stopped at all.
Okay,
like
money ain't stopped coming in.
So like what advice, like somebody right now, they're like, you got Tiffany on the show, right? They've been impacted. They trying to figure out, they didn't take the steps you take that you already took before in the past. Like what advice would you give that person trying to figure out what they should be doing right now?
Let's be honest. I don't really think that a lot of people are entrepreneurs, right? And so I think that when we have this conversation about what people should be doing, I think we're talking to a group of people who are trying to be entrepreneurs because that's what the world is talking about right now. And that seems to be in, and that seems to be the easy way. But I think that I think you have to be born an entrepreneur, but I also think that entrepreneurship can happen upon you, out of nowhere just because of circumstances. But I think it takes a different level of grind and a different level of tenacity and a different level of risk and a different level of no more plan B's. This plan A has to work. So I'm going to get it how I live. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're talking about that, it would then say I'm talking to two different people, right? The people that are entrepreneurs or have that in them, because you also have a set of people that are like, well, a set of people that may be like, well, what if nobody buys my stuff and nobody, and I'm like, well, you might not be an entrepreneur, because I don't really know an entrepreneur that cares if nobody's buying your stuff, they're still selling it to you, right? Like that's the whole gist of our existence. If you say no, we're going to 13 other people to say yes. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I say.
It's crazy right now. There's so many like people telling you, you shouldn't sell, you should sit still, you should be quiet, right? What's your whole thoughts on that? Like the people that are afraid to just pitch their product and sell it to the public right now.
Yeah, so I think that people pay attention to the wrong people all the time. And I'm always like blown away by the people that tell me what people are saying to them and and I'm like, why would you even listen to them? And here's a scenario I have for that, right? Like there's not too many people I listen to. You're not just going to tell me that I shouldn't sell, because what I do is I look at the track record of your life. And if the track record of your life doesn't look like what I want my life to be, you can just go ahead and assume that I'm not going to listen to you anymore. And so let me give you this analogy, right? Let's say I'm pushing Eric, go ahead and tell Fortune and Brittany I'm on this live, because they somewhere in my IG DMs laughing, going back and forth, and they don't know I'm here. So go ahead and let the littles know we here. But so I push a baby out, right? Like you push a newborn baby out. Who lets people come into the delivery room touching their newborn baby after they get done coughing in their hands? Who does? Would you let somebody touch your baby? Right.
Not
and the
at all.
reason why we don't let people touch our babies is because they don't have the immune system necessary to fight off the germs that an adult may have. With a simple cough to an adult is different from a cough that a baby just came out of the womb with, right? They don't have the immune system necessary. So we have to protect the baby because the baby can't protect themselves. And so my question is, when you ask me the question, Tiff, what do you do when people say you shouldn't be selling right now? You shouldn't be doing this right now. Why would you then give this business baby to a person that has that level of fear when your business baby doesn't have the immune system necessary to be strong. Because you know what? You ever had that person that says you can't do this when you were younger, and then it just killed everything, and you're like, oh, I maybe
Just
can't
stop
do
it.
it. Yeah, that's your immune system, because you gave your business baby to somebody with a dirty mind. And so when you say, why are you listening to I wouldn't listen to anybody. Like, I stopped taking advice from people who don't have no peace. And if you are telling me not to get money during this time, you have no peace, and you don't really have no common sense, because I got 2 mouths to feed. You know what I'm saying? I got children to feed. I have a house to make. So who are you to tell me? And you also have to understand, people give you their advice based off of, I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm excited about
Let's
this.
go.
But
Let's go.
people give you their advice based off of their limited experiences and their projections, right? So somebody might be giving you that advice and they have low self-esteem, or they are, being abused in the background, or they don't feel powerful. And so what they're trying to do, abuse people, hurting people, hurt people, defeated people, defeat people. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like, we're not this 2020, we're not listening to them anymore. And you know what? Let me just take it to the Bible, since that's a book I enjoy reading on occasion.
Let's
Joseph,
go.
during a time of famine, okay? Famine is different from recession. Famine means you don't have no food left. Your ribs are going. Famine, he was selling corn during the time of famine. And you know what? I went back to the Bible. I don't know how you talk to God, but I'd be like, God, are you telling me that Joseph was selling during this time? Is they mad at me in my comments and emailing me? You're unsensitive. You shouldn't be selling during this time. Finger thugs. And they're like, I was like, Joseph was freaking selling during this time. God, why didn't I know this before? And it's something about reading the story, but then reading it during this time, that I maybe just highlighted that and didn't see it before, that I saw it now. But that's what I think of them. I think nothing of them. And I'm going to keep getting to this money.
Oh my goodness. Hey, I need a flamethrower emoji. Do I need the flame emoji? If you guys is feeling like Tiffany is giving it to you early, I need all the flame emojis possible right now in this comment section. So like Tiffany, so you're getting them hyped up about selling, right? Like there's somebody right now that got furloughed, right? They're at the crib, they're at the house. They had this big idea thinking that job was going to do so much for them. Right now they're home. There's passions and ideas that I think people got that are going to be birthed in this moment. What's your thoughts on that person who thought the career was the way they should go? Right now they're realizing they don't even got a job to go to.
What's really funny about that is I think last year was a small example of what this year was going to be. I don't know if you remember the time when the government shut down for 3 weeks. And I watched people on my Facebook timeline saying that they didn't have any money, they didn't have this, and it was just a 3-week shutdown. It wasn't a 4-month shutdown. And I was looking at that and I was like, man, God, they have no idea that there's another one of these coming, but it's going to be more severe than it is today. And so I think anybody that keeps their hope in the government is a fool. I think that anybody that keeps their hope in a job is a fool. I think that anybody that keeps all of their hope in a business is a fool. The only hope that I have is in God. And one of the things that I am very strong about is that I take no thought in what tomorrow brings, because God is my provision. And no matter what happens, he's always going to put something inside of me that I can sell in that moment, so that me and mine are going to be good.
I think right now what you're really telling people right now is you got to have a faith and a belief stronger than the belief in man, right? You got to stop thinking that somebody else.
I'm going to disappoint you. You're going to disappoint people. We're human. That's just what we are. The government cannot sustain us. Your job can't sustain us. And let's be honest, entrepreneurship is not rock solid. It's not steel, right? But the only thing that can sustain us is God. And so while I am a very successful entrepreneur, I still have not taken my eye off of the fact that God is what I'm sustained in. God is what all of my hope is in. It's not in this business. It's not in the fact that I made $175,000 last month. It's not in the fact that I make that on a very regular basis. It's in the fact that God is God. And if that stopped, I'm still good, because God is God.
100%. I think right now is the time also to tap into gifts, tap into things that people say you're good at with the least amount of effort. What's like your biggest advice to somebody who doesn't know what they do well? They have no idea. Right.
So what I love about that question is, before I was an entrepreneur, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know what to sell. And I also knew I needed low-hanging fruit, because I couldn't necessarily sell a product, if you will, because I didn't have the money to invest in like a gang of products. So I
Yeah.
needed to use something that was like in here, right? I really went into the wisdom business. And so the only thing I was really good at was giving unsolicited advice. Like I love stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
And then I was really good at writing angry Black girl poetry because I had to go through anger management class when I was in high school. And I walked out of there with like 38, angry Black girl poetry. So all I had to offer was unsolicited advice and angry Black girl poetry. And I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I can figure out a way to just make a lot of money giving unsolicited advice. And then I started looking at people that did that, right? Like Dr. Phil does that, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Oz does that. Judge Judy, even though she's a judge, is sitting up there giving you unsolicited advice all the time. And so Oprah was doing it. Iyanla Vanzant was doing it, right? And so here are these people that get paid a hefty amount to give unsolicited advice. And I was like, if they could do it, I can do it too. So for everybody listening, I really think that you have something inside of you that almost is so easy and sounds so ridiculous that you have dismissed it. And you feel like it's not good enough because it comes so easy to you. But let me just say this, like I would pay top dollar for a chef. Thank God I don't have to because my daughter is an amazing cook, but I would pay top dollar for a chef because I can't cook. But what comes easy to my daughter, right, is something that she does effortlessly, but I would rather pay the person that it came easy for. I don't want to pay somebody that this gift is hard for. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing graphic design and it's hard for you, I don't want to pay you. So just understand that the ease and what you all do is your strength. And somebody like me wants to spend my money with somebody that it comes to with ease. I want to hire you to do it for me because it's easy for you. I don't want to hire you because it's hard for you.
And I think that's the reason you hire them, right? Because you want to alleviate stress. You don't want to have to deal with certain things, which I think is crazy that so many are at home trying to figure out things that they're frustrated with, right? That they just can't help but think about how do they do it, right? They're wasting time on those things. So I think that's very powerful. You mentioned that when you speak, there's like a level of passion. There's a level of direct energy. Where does that come from?
I came out the womb this way. I came out of the womb this way.
Out of the womb, ready to go.
Straight out the womb, July 4th, I came out. But no, I've had this boldness for a very long time and this passion for a very long time. I am not a woman of small talk. And so I kind of just talk about what I'm passionate about. And if I have small talk, I really just kind of stay silent because I don't have anything to add to that conversation. But entrepreneurship and God both are simultaneously two conversations that I love to have. And so you will always find passion from me in those two areas, just because I hate to see people poor. I hate to see people mad at people getting money. And I just don't feel like we're operating at our fullest potential. I hate to see people say that they're saved and gave their life to Christ, but operating at very low level. And I hate to see people not walking in their God-given authority that God gave them. And so because of that hate or that righteous indignation I am very, very, very just passionate about a lot of things.
So, like you said something early in the conversation, I want people to go, and I want you to go a little bit longer with this. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. So when you say that, how can somebody identify, hey, look, man, you should stop doing this?
So again, I think 80% of entrepreneurs are born, right? It's just like this wire we have that we just cannot work for anybody on this earth. I knew this when I was a very little girl, started my dog walking business, had a snow shoveling business, had a paper route business, had a now and later business, right? Like I was always like, I need to be making my own money, right? And then you have some people that are that happen upon it. Like maybe their child had eczema and they created this for their child and they started selling it to people in the neighborhood and they just kind of caught traction. And now they're entrepreneurs because they found the solution to an issue, but weren't really trying to be one. I think, and this is just one of my examples, not many, but I think that if you find yourself over the last 5 to 10 years, always trying to start something, and it's just not like you don't even finish it through to even see if it's going to work, I think you should then go back to a 9 to 5.
Facts. I think so many people, even that are entrepreneurs, they get to a spot where it gets difficult and they stop. I think the real breakthrough is consistency. And so many people say they want to do what you're doing. They want to do what I'm doing, but they're not consistent. Do you see consistency being a key factor in succeeding?
I was an overnight 15-year success. And so while a lot of people know who I am or some don't know who I am, I didn't just start yesterday or whenever anybody found out about me. I started in 2005 when I self-published my first poetry book and was selling them in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I started in 2007 when my first hood fiction book made Essence Magazine bestseller, right? Like I started, like I didn't start yesterday, but I am a 15-year overnight success. And that's just because over the last 15 years, I was consistent. And I'm not the best at what I do, right? Like I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most creative. But what I can do is outwork you. And what I can do is out consistent you. And what I can do is not care if you said, no, you don't want to buy it, because I'm going to go ask the next 13 people to buy it. And one of them going to say, yeah. Right. Like I just have that tenacity about me. So consistency has definitely been, I would say, one of the top 5 reasons of my success, being very consistent over 15 years. Like you're not talking about somebody that was consistent for 3 years or 4 years. Like I've been at this for a very long time now.
And that hard work pays off. And I think that's a good message that you're preaching, is that people need to know, look, this happened last week. Guys, right now, I know a lot of people are in this live. If you have questions for Tiffany, utilize the question box. We're going to go through a couple of those questions. We're going to pull a couple of those questions out. We're going to start adding value to you guys. So I'm going to start scrolling through a couple if we can. Let me see. All right. First question up. So CA Creative Code, that's my wife too. How do you know you're in alignment with God?
I think that whenever you don't hear God, I think peace should be your answer. Peace should be your answer. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are just unsure, and there's this unsettling, and you're like, God, is everything okay between you and I? I feel out of alignment, and I just think that there's a sense of peace that you will have to let you know. A lot of people feel like a lot of the times God is really angry with them, or God is mad at them about something, but that is a spirit of condemnation. And I want, whenever everybody gets a chance, but before tonight is over, I want everybody to Google the definition of the word condemnation. And when you get done Googling it, I want you to look up all of the synonyms to the word condemnation. And then I want you to look up all the antonyms of the word condemnation. The reason I want you to do that is because I want you to start to confess the antonyms over your life, because God said that there is therefore no condemnation to them that are in Christ Jesus. And so a lot of the times people are out of alignment because you feel condemned about something, guilty about something, judged about something. But you also want to track back and ask God, like, where have I been judging somebody at? You know what I'm saying? Like, God, you showed me that if I judge somebody, I was going to be judged. So can you tell me where I'm judging somebody at, so then that judgment off of me can be lifted off? But let me just get this clear. There are 2 different types of judgment, right? So we're not to judge anybody by a sight or appearance, but we are to judge righteously, right? And so I just wanted to clarify that for people that are like, I knew we weren't supposed to judge. Oh no, we're supposed to judge. Like I judged that pastor for playing Meg the Stallion while he was passing out communion. That's not God, and it won't right. And I don't care who he is or what your favorite pastor or worship leader is, it won't right to do. It's not God. It wasn't right. He is a compromised leader, and he was out of order. Holy Communion is holy, and that's that.
Big facts, 100% agree with you on that. Guys, make sure you're utilizing this question box, going through questions. We will be asking a couple of those questions. All right, here we go. There's another one for you. Comes from Politic, and it says, what does an effective business plan require?
I don't know. When you find out, let me know. I've never written one. Shawn, what's your business plan look like? I don't know.
So you haven't done it. You see so many questions up in here, trying to scroll through so many. Guys, utilize the question box if you're with Tiffany. In the meantime, I'm going to pause, give people a second to go through the questions, guys. There's a lot of people here right now live. You have questions for Tiffany. Rare moment, coronavirus, now what? She's doing this interview with us right now, sharing her time. Highly, highly appreciate it, guys. If you've been impacted so far with this interview, let me see a flame emoji. If you're liking what Tiffany is bringing to the table, let me see a flame emoji. So it said, what's your business plan, Shawn? That's funny. That's funny. My business plan is just three things. And it's always those three things. And that's dealing with branding. Anybody want to know about branding? That's know yourself, position yourself, and present yourself. You do those things well, you are on fire. So here's a question I want to ask you, because I know somebody else is thinking the same question, right? We talked about when you know you're not an entrepreneur no more. We talked about, okay, now you need to stop. Now you need to quit, right? I think there's a lot of people who want to go at entrepreneurship by themselves. How important is it, right? Do you think it is to collaborate or to find, people that can uplift you and take you to the next level?
I just think it depends on what kind of person you are. I don't think that either is a bad idea. I'll use myself as an example. I was somebody that needed to build on my own. And I don't think it was right or wrong that I chose that route. I am grateful that I did, looking at my life hindsight, because I never wanted to put somebody in a position like, I think that great people are out there. And I think great people are in abundance. But unfortunately, I ran into a lot of bad people. Right. And so I didn't think that God wanted me in a position where somebody else was able to take his glory for what my promotion in this world. Right. That's why whenever I work with people, I try my best not to take their glory or what they did. Even if I'm helping them on something, I just don't do that. Right. But I think for that part, you also, what I've seen is people going to people, like waiting for people to acknowledge them or knight them, if you will, or validate them, saying, if I only can get their endorsement, then I'm going to pop off and I'm going to be huge. But the truth is, that same person that gives you the endorsement can also blackball you. And so you never want to be put in a position where, because somebody put you on, they can take you back off. And so what I just always asked God was, like, even in entrepreneurship or anything, I was like, God, I just ask that you promote me and that no person's hand is on me for promotion, so that if they get mad at something I have to say, I'm unblackballable. For people that run into really good people, I don't think anything's wrong with that. I don't think anything's wrong with using somebody's platform or growing or building a team around that. I think it's just all personal preference. And I don't think that either one is wrong. It just depends on which one you feel like is right. But that's why I didn't do it.
I like that. The word of the night is
unblackballable.
All right, we got so many questions in here now. All right, we got it from Focus to Get Fit. She wrote, how do we strengthen our relationship with God and in our business?
Okay, so here's my answer to this, right? And so I strengthened my relationship with God through fasting and prayer. And fasting, I think, is a curse word in 2020 or in these days, period. I think that people are not interested in fasting and interested in turning down their plate, or they try to make it and turn it into something they want it to be. And so fasting is not a consecration where you're turning down social media, or you're not having sex for a period of time, or you're not eating sugar for a period of time. Biblical fasting is when you're not eating any food for a period of time. And so we want to make sure that we are, you know what I'm saying? Like, just whenever you're fasting and praying, it's like dynamite to your prayer life. And it also allows you to hear God a lot easier, because normally it's our flesh talking to us a lot, right? Like you're trying to work on something because let's say you're trying to write a book. And then what happens? Your flesh tells you you're tired, or your flesh tells you to check social media, or your flesh tells you to take the phone call. But you never really quite finished that chapter you were supposed to be writing. And so what fasting does is it kills that flesh, and it kills those voices, and it kills all the voices that have been drowning God's voice out for a very long time, to allow you to hear God. It takes everything out of the way. But fasting also does really miraculous things for the body and the cells in general. But fasting with prayer is a very powerful spiritual tool. I also, when I got saved in August 2015, I made God the CEO of my business. And so that is just something as simple as, when I thought of a CEO of a major company, a CEO normally forecasts, where the company is going, and, they're over all of that. And I said, well, how powerful is it that I have a CEO who's omnipresent, who's omniscient, who's all knowing, who's everywhere. And so while I might pray on bow down and pray to God, right, when I go into my meetings with my CEO, I sit up and I go in there with notebook and pen and I'm like, okay, God, I'm your daughter. So first of all, I work for my father. It's nepotism going on. So I already got lots of favor with my dad because he hired me to work for the company. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, God, there's nepotism going on, but Dad, what do you want me to do for the company? What's going on 2020? What's going, and when I look at Millions Conference, like the theme of it was rich in recession. And when I went to the website, it's just, I just happened to go look at it yesterday, but I thought it was so powerful. And I think this is just one of the benefits of like talking to God in regards to your business, because I don't know if you remember July 2019, all was well in the world. Like there was nothing like going on. Everybody was happy. And he was talking to me about this time of recession. And on the website, it says the 2019 theme was rich in recession. And it says the government shutdown. This is what I wrote, just FYI, this is me. But I wrote the government shutdown was a warning of how many people are living paycheck to paycheck, barely bringing enough in to survive another economic decline. There is a recession on a horizon, and God has given us strategy and insight on how to prepare for those times through prophetic discernment of the time and season that we're in. If there was ever a time to become an entrepreneur and an influencer, it's now. If I had not gone into my business meeting through prayer and fasting with my CEO, I wouldn't have seen a recession coming. I would not have been prepared for it or had a whole conference wrapped around preparing the over 2,000 people that joined us in DC last year, right? And so that's what I do.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to that question.
That killer answers that question. Guys, I want to make sure you're catching all the things Tiffany is saying tonight. If you can hear everybody clear, let me get a thumbs up. Let me get a thumbs up. If you can hear everything good, crystal clear, let me get a thumbs up. I want to make sure you guys are catching all of this knowledge that Tiffany is giving today. Can I get a thumbs up? I want to make sure everyone can hear you, make sure everyone can hear me. This is really, really good. All right, so we got the thumbs up. You know what I like about what you just said? You predicted this would happen a year ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which I think is so monumental. And this happened at the Millions Conference. For people that are wondering, what is it, right? Tell the people exactly what that is.
Yep. So when I started in the online entrepreneurial space in 2010, it was very heavy new age and occult and all of those things. And I didn't know what that was. But every time and I was watching these people have really strong wins, like they were making $1 million in 8 months. Like this is back in 2010, where I'm like, man, this is unheard of. But when they were doing it, they were giving somebody named the universe a lot of glory. And I didn't know what the universe was, but it just sounded foreign to me. And I was like, what is this? And so obviously, and I also would see, business intuitives coming out, and I would be like, well, I got intuition. Maybe I'm a business intuitive. I know things are going to happen before they happen. Maybe that's what I am. Right. But what I learned was that a business intuitive was really a psychic. Okay. And so when I gave my life to Christ in 2015 and made God the CEO of my business, I was like, God, somebody has to do something about this. There are Christians that are thinking, people say all the time, I'm going to eat the meat and spit out the bones, but ignorant Christians that don't read the Bible can't eat the meat and spit out the bones because you don't know what meat to keep and what bones to spit out. And so you had a lot of ignorant, biblically illiterate Christians that were following them because they were more impressed by their success. And I just watched these people really finesse saying, I got the success, but it was because of the universe, and it was because of crystals, and it was because of I got my horoscope read and got my tarot read, and I know that this was a time for me to launch. And so Millions Conference was really birthed out of the fact that God really created the kingdom of God to be the foretellers of the future. We weren't supposed to be chasing after anybody or going to the world for the answers. The world should have been coming to us for the solutions. And so this is a conference that has the hand of God has definitely been on. Miracles, God promised me last year that documented miracles would be shown. We watched 4 people come up out of their wheelchairs. We saw tumors come out. There were, massive amounts of people that got pregnant that were told that they couldn't conceive. And so on top of it just being a powerful entrepreneurial conference that is really aligning entrepreneurs back to the truth, I think that we just have this conversation these days that we have to kind of compromise who we are to get the unbelievers in it. And I don't believe that. I believe that I'm going to keep my level up here, and I'm going to challenge you to meet me up here, but I'm not coming down to come and get you and bring you back up. And so that's what Millions Conference is all about.
Guys, if you want to attend the Millions Conference and she has you excited about what it is, let me get a flame emoji. If you guys like what she's talking about, you want to know more about it, you want to know when's the date, how can you go to it, let me get a flame emoji if you're feeling that conference idea. We're going to scroll through some questions in the meantime. A lot of them have come through. All right, here we go. How do you stand out? Comes from Kiera Nicole. She wrote, how do you stand out in an industry that seems to be oversaturated?
Yep. And so one of the things that I would say to you is that your perspective is on the wrong thing. Your sight is on the wrong thing. And I'm always cautious about where I'm looking and where I focus my sight on. My sight is not in how many people are doing it, because it really doesn't matter. My sight is not really focused on lack. I really have an abundance mindset, if you will. And so I don't think that there's only 30 people that I'm going to be able to serve. I'm like, listen, we have the internet and we can serve people all over the world. And so it wouldn't matter if there's a lot. As you can tell also, my personality is a lot different than maybe other people in this space. I'm incredibly brash, not on purpose, but it's just my personality. I'm very, very, very to the point, and I don't mince my words at all. And I don't really care who's offended by that. And so taking my personality to my platform, as well as with the information I have and the knowledge I had, I knew that God was going to send me a certain set of people that needed what I had to offer, because everybody's not going to listen to everybody. And so God has given me the people that he wants me to serve. He's going to give you the people he wants you to serve. He's going to give Shawn the people he wants him to serve, And so, I look at the Bible. He says, one man plants, another man waters. Ultimately, it's God that gives the increase. And so all of us need to be used, because we cannot serve the entire world. It's not possible. And so that's what I will say. Change your perspective and ask God to give you like an overall view of how big this world is and how many people are in it. And then I think you'll have a better perspective of how much you're needed in this space. And just also remember, like, I had a lot of people, probably still, I think they don't email me no more, because you say something stupid to me, Shawn, I'm gonna say something stupid back. Okay. Email me something stupid. You get something
I know you
stupid
is.
back. That's right.
You is.
But I remember before, when I first started, there were people that would email me and say, hey, Tiff, you talk about God too much. This is back in 2015. And they would make an announcement. Hey, I'm going to unfollow you. But if you talked about God a little less, I would follow you. And I'm like, imagine me. I mean, I'm typing this back though. Imagine me taking advice from somebody as limited and small as you are to tell me not to talk about God who created heaven and earth. Imagine that. Girl, bye. Goodbye. You have a good life. You know what I'm saying?
Bye.
I would have people
Bye.
tell me that I should answer people nicer and softer. And I'm like, well, you may have been used to people telling you that it wasn't okay for you to be yourself when you were younger. And so now you have conformed to people's perspectives of how they think you should be. But I haven't done that. And I'm very comfortable in my shoes. And I'm not going to allow somebody who is uncomfortable and muzzled in their own life tell me who I should be. And so, of course, there were a lot of people I had to fight at the beginning in regards to who I am and what God created me to be. But the fact is, I'm the same online as I am offline. I am literally the exact same person, probably a little funnier. But this is just who I am. And so let's say you're like, Tiff, I'm not as boisterous as you. I'm not as full of personality as you. I'm not, there's a need for people that listen and don't have as much to say as me, because I'm not going to listen to you too much. I don't really want to hear what you got to say. I'm not interested in that. I can't. But there are people like you that are needed in this world, right? Like there are people that are needed to sit there and be a listening ear to people who just want to talk and who just want to like navigate this world and try to figure it out, but they don't want you to help them figure it out. And so you're necessary, right? Let's say you're a clown. You're just like hilarious. You're needed. Like I try to get people around me that's going to keep me laughing all day because I enjoy laughing, And so, these people are you are all necessary, whether you're quiet, whether you're funny, whether you're just very analytical, like all of you are needed, and don't worry about fitting in, in places you don't belong.
And what I like so much about that is that you can be yourself 100% and repel everybody who doesn't need to know you exist and attract a true tribe, a true following of people who are united to your cause and your purpose. So 100%, guys, definitely be yourself and repel who is ever hating on you. Scrolling through the questions, there's a lot of questions in here. All right, this one comes from John Watson. He wrote, what keeps you motivated every day?
So I really love this question because I think years ago I stepped away from needing to be motivated every day. I am motivated by the fact that I don't want to be poor. I'm motivated by the fact that I need to make money today. All right. Like, so I've walked away from the need to be motivated every day, and I stepped into a space of discipline. And so what discipline does for me is whether I'm passionate about something or not, my goal is to be disciplined enough to see the project through, no matter where my roller coaster of emotions may take me that day. And I think that's also a problem, that a lot of entrepreneurs are led by their emotions, but nobody's motivated to get up and clock into a 9 to 5, Shawn. Nobody is motivated to wake up, go to work, sit there all day with everybody. Like, you're not motivated by that. You're disciplined to say, if I don't go to work, these are the consequences I'm going to have to take from not doing that. And so again, as an entrepreneur, I stepped away from being emotional and having to be led by my motivation, and had to be led by my feelings. And because your feelings will lie to you. Let's just be honest. Your feelings will tell you a lie right to your cockeyed face. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They will look at you in the mirror as soon as you wake up and lie. All right. And so I just make sure that I'm just disciplined, and I work on my discipline every day. It's still a daily work that I'm working on discipline, but I don't allow my emotions to run me, because, they said I had attention deficit disorder when I was little, ADD.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah. And so I don't eat a lot of sugar, because I notice when I eat a lot of sugar, it really flames up and I just can't concentrate on anything. And so I just do a lot of things necessary that I don't take Ritalin or Adderall for it. But discipline has been my saving grace, and routine has been my saving grace of why I don't need motivation. Motivation for me doesn't do well, because again, I can be motivated about something today, and when I wake up in the morning, my mind has changed and I'm motivated about something else. You're talking about somebody that has a million ideas up here. Okay. So imagine now having a million ideas, being excited about it, but now I have to execute, and I have to rely on my emotions to help me to see that through. Like, no, it's not going to happen.
That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. All right, we see so many questions here. All right, Kiara Harris Photography. How do you handle being a single mom and in-demand entrepreneur? Pretty much on the balance.
Yeah. So one thing about the term single mom is I have never called myself that. I mean, technically I'm not. And so with that being said, my son's father is in the picture, so I'm not raising him by myself. And so we co-parent extremely well. But I just don't use that term single mom. I think it's, this is my opinion, so don't send me no DM or no email about it, whoever don't agree with it. Okay. I always have to put that caveat out there. I think it's very defeating, that word. Especially if you are believing God for a husband. And so I'm just definitely not about to label myself something that, like, you're just not going to put that label on me. Right. And so I don't allow anybody to label me with that. And I always encourage other women who are mothers to not allow that to be your title. I think it's such a foolish title. And just say you're a mom and go on about your life, but stop titling yourself something. Yeah, it's just not. So I'm not a single mom at all, and I don't raise my children by myself. So
I see. These questions are funny. Inside, there's so many like weird ones that like bots. Someone asked, "Are you married?" Let me see. You see.
I would never tell the world. Just so we're clear.
That's right. I know this was a good one. This is a good one. What is one piece of information, comes from Beautiful Crown 4HG? What is one piece of information that you know now that you would tell yourself when you started at 15?
No, that when I started out 15 years ago.
Yeah, I started 15 years ago. It's a little, okay, there it is. Yep.
So I would say to my younger self, I love this question. I get asked often, what would you tell your younger self now? I would tell my younger self that I'm a lot more powerful than I thought I was. I would say you are a lot more powerful than you think you are. I would tell my younger self that you know more than you think you do. And I would tell my younger self, don't listen to those people. Just keep doing what you want to do. I would also encourage my younger self to believe more than I thought was possible. And I would encourage my younger self to really go after exactly what it is I believed I wanted.
100% facts. 100% facts. So, Tiff, I want to ask you a question that we've asked everybody who's hopped on, this coronavirus, now what, this IG Live series. What would you say right now to the healthcare workers who are putting themselves out there, the people who are at grocery stores that are putting themselves out there, the essential people that are helping us get through this time? What would be your words of encouragement or advice for them?
I just want to say they deserve it all. I was just talking to somebody yesterday and I was like, if I was a nurse, I would have quit. First time I walked in and I heard somebody coughing, I said, I'm sorry, everybody, I got to go. I can't work with that. And would have called out. They were like, you wouldn't have been able to be a nurse anymore. And I said, that was a risk I would be willing to take. And so I just want to say, like, y'all are the real MVPs. And I just want to say that I believe that they will be rewarded for their sacrifice and their alms. Really, they're giving to the needy in this moment. And I just really believe that God is going to bless you for that, and what you're doing and sacrificing the ability to almost lay down your life to save a stranger, not even a brother or a friend, but just honoring that vow you took with the oath you made when you went to those fields. And so I would just say, stay encouraged and, just believe God for more.
100%, guys. If you're valuing right now the healthcare workers, the grocery workers, I need to see a heart emoji. Can we get a bunch of heart emojis right now? If you truly value them for what they're doing.
When I see somebody in the military, I always say, thank you for your service. And now when I see healthcare workers, I will now start saying, if I know that they're healthcare workers, like if they're dressed up, I'm going to say, thank you for your service. Because I honor all of you.
It's really real. So Tiffany, right now, people want to know more about you. What do you have going on that people can see happening in the future? And just give them where they can find you on social media or other platforms.
Yeah, I'll be announcing our Millions Conference 2020 this month. And so I'm really excited about that. And I just really it's so timely and so necessary in regards to what's going on and what God has revealed to me about what's next. And so I'm really excited about that. And that's about it, Shawn. We're on punishment right now, the world. And so I don't really have too much to know what's going on soon, but that's all I got for you.
I'm with you on that. Guys, continue to make the right moves and the right choices right now. I do want to tell everybody this that's listening. If you enjoyed this IG Live, get ready for Friday. Tiffany is on our episode of School's Over Now with the podcast, which comes out each and every single week. It comes out on Friday. Tiffany is up for episode 102. Guys, make sure you tune into that one because you won't believe what she says on that one. It's one of my favorites of all time. And you're going to be ready to run through a building after you hear this episode. It'll be available on all audio platforms, your iTunes, your Spotify, anywhere where podcasts are found. Also, I want to let everyone know right now that is listening to this, I'm going to go right on live immediately after this, and I'm going to hear what some of your feedback, what was your biggest takeaway from this episode? I want to know, what did you learn from Tiffany, having Tiffany on live tonight? What was your biggest takeaway? I want to bring you guys on live to talk about it. I'll do that immediately after this live. So you aren't already, make sure you're following me at Shawn R. Anthony _. Make sure you're following Tiffany. Everything that she's doing, that Millions Conference is something serious. Tiffany, I appreciate you so much, homie. You always been a real one.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Yes, you too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Yo, what you think? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to know what you learned. So if you wouldn't mind, would you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast on your phone right now? Upload to your Instagram stories, tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _, and then let me know in that Instagram story what is one thing that you learned. I love hearing from you, my listeners, thought leaders, former or current students all around the world. Let me know, and while you're doing this, go inside the podcast app, subscribe, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. Again, This helps us reach more people. And if you want to be a part of this mission, helping us change the world one person at a time, it makes a massive difference by you leaving a review. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. And remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.